channel Tutelage, a guide to economics. Here, this is Shripana. Hope all of you are doing good. We had already discussed first and second chapter, that is meaning of statistics, and second one is collection of data. So today we are going to discuss another most important third chapter, that is measures of central tendency. So if you have missed my session, so please go and check my description box, and my first comment link is already shared. Okay, so now move on the next slide, where we can see what will be the today's topic for discussion. So first one is definition of measures of central tendency. The second concept is objectives and characteristics of central value or average. Third concept is types of average, and fourth concept, that is concept of arithmetic mean and its calculation. Okay, so now move on the main slide and let's begin the session. So here this is the slide for definition of measure of central value or average. So at first we have to know what do you mean by a average. So average is basically a single value which is a true representative of all items in the series, and according to Bowley, statistics may rightly be called the science of averages. So we have already known that we can't use the whole population data or something else in the statistics. If the population if we are using the whole data, so it gets too much complicated and tough, and proper results will not come. So that's why we are using the sample data in the statistics, and it is easy to calculate and it is understandable also. So, and it helps to get the exact results. So I think which is clear. So now move on the next slide, where we can see some objectives of average. The first one is it is a representative of data. We have already told that average is the true representative of the data, because which indicates a single value. Okay, and it describes the basic feature of the whole population. Now going to the third one, that is it helps to facilitate the comparisons within one group or between groups of data. So I think which is clear what are the objectives of the average. So now move on the next slide, where we can see some characteristics of average. The first one is average should be rigidly defined. So at first we have to know what is rigid. What do you mean by a rigidity? So rigidity means about the same thing, which indicates the inflexibility. So results are same while 2 or 3 times calculation are done. So that indicates the inflexibility. So there is no confusion about the meaning. Okay, so now go to the second characteristic, that is based on all the items. So average should be based on all observations, because it is a true representative of all data. So now go to the third and fourth characteristics, that is it is simple to calculate. We have already told that, and it is easy to understand, because we are using the sample data. So that's why it is simple to calculate and easy to understand. Now move on the fifth characteristics, that is least affected by the extreme observations. So one or two very small or large items unduly affect the average, then it cannot be really typical of the entire group. Extreme values may distort the average and reduces its usefulness. Clear? So now move on the next slide, where we can see the rest of the characteristics of average. So the sixth characteristic of average, that is algebraic treatment. So algebraic treatment, because it has lots of algebraic treatment, and we will discuss it in my next class. So measure of central tendency are used in many other techniques of statistical analysis like mean, median, mode, etc. Okay, so now going to the last characteristics of average, that is sampling stability. So average will be least affected by the sampling fluctuations. If few samples are taken from the same universe, so average have least variation, because it has sampling stability, and that's why average is the true representative of the universe. So now go to the next slide, where we can see the types of average. So we can see Average is of two types. The first one is a mathematical average and second one is a positional average. So now let's discuss what is the mathematical average and then the positional average. So let's move on the next slide. So here this is the slide for definition of the mathematical average. So learner, what do you mean by a mathematical average? So mathematical averages are those averages which are calculated by taking into account the all values of the items. Okay, so all values of items. So mathematical average includes all values of items. Clear? So we all know that mean are calculated by all values in the series. So that's why example of the mathematical average is the arithmetic mean, geometric mean and harmonic mean. So various kinds of mean is the example of the mathematical average, which denotes only the all values of all items in a series. Clear? So now going to the next slide where we can discuss the what do you mean by a positional average. So positional average is the average the value of which depends on the position of the items. Okay, so there is a basic differences between the mathematical average and positional average. So positional average indicates the position of the items, okay, and the mathematical average denotes the values of the items in the series. So that's why median, quartile deviation, mode all are the example of the positional average because it depends on the position of the values. I think it is clear what is the basic differences between mathematical average and positional average. Okay, so now move on the next slide. Here this is the definition for arithmetic mean. So at first we have to know what do you mean by a arithmetic mean. So arithmetic mean is the number which is obtained by dividing the sum of the values of all items by the number of items, which is one of the most simplest method of measures of central tendency. So now move on the next slide where we can see the formula of arithmetic mean. So arithmetic mean is denoted by x bar. Clear? So this is the series of x variable. This is the whole series of x variable x1, x2, x3 xn, which is divided by n. N means number of items. Clear? So arithmetic mean equals to, or x bar equals to, summation. This sign denotes the summation x divided by n. Clear? This is the formula of arithmetic mean. X bar equals to summation x divided by small n. Okay. So now move on the next slide. So here we can see only n is a number of observations and x1, x2, x3, x4, which denotes the n values of a variable x. So now move on the next. So here we can see the types of arithmetic mean. So we all know that arithmetic mean is of two types. The first one is simple arithmetic mean and second one is weighted arithmetic mean. So now go to the next slide where we can discuss what do you mean by a simple arithmetic mean and what is weighted arithmetic mean. So now move on the next. So here this is the definition for the simple arithmetic mean. So what do you mean by a simple arithmetic mean? So simple arithmetic mean while calculating a simple average, simple arithmetic mean, all items of the series are given equal importance. Okay, so when we are calculating the simple arithmetic mean, all items of the series are given the equal importance, okay, because they are considered equally important. Okay, so now move on the next one, that is the weighted arithmetic mean. when we are calculating the weighted arithmetic mean, the relative importance of different items is not same. In such cases, the average must reflect the relative importance of the different items. So weight basically stands for the relative importance. When we are calculating the simple arithmetic mean, all values have equally important, but we are using the weighted arithmetic mean formula, there is a relative importance. Okay, so all the values are not equally important. Okay, so relative importance of the different items is present. So now move on the next slide. So here we can see the simple arithmetic mean is calculated by two methods. The first one is a direct method and second one is a shortcut method, and this portion we will discuss in my next class. So for simple arithmetic mean, weighted arithmetic mean and arithmetic mean definitions and its formula and the characteristics of average, definition of measures of central value, etc. So I hope it will be a very helpful session to everyone. So I will come again with an exciting session for all. Till then, stay tuned and please do like, share, comment and subscribe to my channel, and please press the bell button for getting the notification from my side immediately. Happy learning. Thank you.